Hello, this is Troy with the Noble Grafted In Middle Position, doing a recap of what we learned today. We did touch on the Deuteronomy 32 worldview by going to Deuteronomy 4 and comparing that to Ezekiel 38. Very, very interesting. The nations that surround Israel were turned over, allotted other gods, other divine beings, while in the end it's going to come down to a divine council, thrones, 24 elders, God of Israel, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, taking on the hostile nations and their kings, Isaiah 24, 21 to 24, and being wiped out. So this remnant will be delivered. And what's happening is, what we learned today, when Jesus returns, there's a great battle. So there's a great battle. This is Ezekiel 38 right here, when the restrainer is removed. This is from the utter parts of the north, which is not Russia up here somewhere. It's Turkey, it's Syria. The Antichrist is called an Assyrian. But they're also attacked from the north, from the south, from the west, from the east. And there's a 7-nation coalition. We didn't learn that today, but this Assyrian comes down from the utter parts of the north, which would be from western Turkey. Now, when Christ comes back, that's when the nations know. So we saw in Ezekiel 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, there's a point when all the nations know, and that's at this point right here. When Christ establishes his people, his remnant, delivers a nation in a single day, he does this at the same time. When you have a rescue and you have recompense, this is known in Hebrew justice. This is known as salvation. When you combine freeing the oppressed from an oppressor, think of Israel and Egypt, that's known as salvation, redemption. You might call it ransom. Okay? So in Hebrew justice, you have a nation being delivered from an oppressor or many oppressors, which comes back to those who hate Israel. Now remember, we learned that it was his land. We learned it was his people based on the promises and that he's going to deliver. And we heard it was on his mountain. So when this is all said and done, he's going to deliver a people out of the time of Jacob's trouble. That's most of what we heard here. God comes down and takes out, he's the red part of this. He puts the pressure, the discipline on Israel. The restrainer's removed and Israel faces their final punishment, and then they're finally regathered, reunited, and restored.